Shocking statement. Sam Heughan and the Outlander credibility crisis. Sam Heughan, the male lead of the series, Outlander, sits in his penthouse office in Edinburgh on a gloomy autumn afternoon. A light rain falls outside the window, each drop seeming to awaken his depressed mood. The actor is known for his confident, elegant demeanor and often candid comments, but recently, he has accidentally caused a media earthquake. Just a few hours earlier, an interview was published, in which Sam expressed many, blunt, opinions about the way the Outlander crew works, about production decisions, even mentioning that some people in the management team do not respect the actors, and create invisible pressure, which makes the camera crew tired. These statements quickly spread across social networks, were dissected by fans, causing fierce debate. Many people spoke up to defend him, but many also said he was tactless and ungrateful to the film crew he had been with for many years. And then, right when the storm was raging, an anonymous letter arrived in Sam's hands, demanding that he work with the Outlander crew's lawyer, or else he could face serious legal consequences for damaging reputation and brand. Sam felt like his heart stopped beating. He searched through his phone, email, tried to contact his manager and his personal lawyer, but none of them responded immediately. Confusion began to weigh on him. First contact. About 2 hours later, Sam's cell phone rang. An unknown number, no name, called him. Picking up the phone, the other end said, "Mr. Heughan, this is the legal representative from the Outlander team. We want to start a dialogue to clarify the damaging statements you just made. We will send the legal minutes. Please cooperate." Sam choked up, not knowing how to answer. He begged, "Please give me time to arrange. I want to find out what specific details caused the damage. I am willing to explain." The call quickly ended, leaving a fluttering anxiety in Sam's heart. He knew that without legal support, from his side or from the film crew, things could go much further. Immediately, Sam called his old manager, his longtime close friend, Laura, in an emergency. Laura had worked with him since the early days, always closely following every development of the Outlander project. When she heard Sam's story, she immediately urged him to calm down and promised to provide maximum support. "Laura, you need to collect all the interview transcripts, videos, audio files, anywhere you've spoken. We need to create a counterweight, so that if there's a dispute, you don't have to suffer." Sam pulled out the camera, the hard drive, the interview transcript, the draft notes, everything relevant. For several hours, he and Laura searched for the original version, verified every word, checked for any edits or distortions. Meanwhile, on the Outlander side, their lawyer, Ms. Margaret Llewellyn, a media and licensing lawyer, was also rushing to prepare. Margaret, who had worked on several major film contracts, was very cautious. When she received word from the management, she immediately held an internal meeting, analyzed the potential damage from public opinion, and evaluated the options, from negotiation to litigation. Tense meeting. About a week later, Sam received a Joint Bar Association contract, essentially a temporary agreement to conduct a dialogue, take notes, issue a written acknowledgement if necessary, and to report to the Bar Association's office in London or Edinburgh within 3 days. Sam considered, if he did not cooperate, the group could announce that they had discredited him, and even sue for damages, though in practice, film production companies usually try to avoid doing this with high-profile actors. But Sam also worried that if he went there, to get the other side's lawyer, he might be forced into an unfavorable agreement, forcing him to give up his freedom of speech. He thought about it, then decided, he would go, but with his own lawyer, if possible, or at least someone to defend him. Laura put him in touch with a prominent Edinburgh law firm, Andrew Mackenzie, who specializes in entertainment law and artist protection. Andrew agreed to take the job immediately. After a few meetings, Andrew carefully read the contract the crew sent, discovering that it contained unusually binding clauses, a requirement that Sam not make any unverified comments about the Outlander crew in the future, a commitment not to make any discreditable statements again, and consequences if he continued, including a large financial fine and a possible ban from working on any of the parent company's projects. Andrew warned Sam, "This is an unfair condition. They are clearly using their position to suppress your voice. If you sign such a contract, it will be very difficult to regain your freedom later. But if you refuse to cooperate, they can publish their stance negative, inciting public opinion against him." Sam weighed the two options, to defend his honor or to accept concessions to keep the peace. But deep down, he refused to be chivalrous easily, because he was a straightforward person, and did not want to be silent. A tense conversation. The meeting between Sam, Andrew and Margaret was set for a conference room in the London Bar Association's office. It was dark, rain was falling outside the windows, yellow lights were shining on the lifeless glass of the modern architecture. In the room, on the crew's side were the director, the production manager and lawyer Margaret. On Sam's side were Andrew and Laura, via video call. Everyone sat around a long table, the atmosphere heavy. Margaret began, "We are gathered today to discuss Mr. Heughan's recent statements. From the Outlander crew's perspective, these statements have caused significant reputational damage, have raised questions from sponsors and TV partners, and may lead to the loss of future advertising or collaboration contracts." She opened a slideshow, listing media articles citing Sam's statements, the number of shares, and negative comments from the community. She said, "We want you to publicly correct, apologize to the crew, and commit to not repeating similar comments. We also want a legal clause that holds you responsible if you violate," Andrew countered. Sam has worked with the crew for many years, and has greatly contributed to the commercial success and image of Outlander. His statements, if they are incorrect, can be explained and clarified. But the binding clause you have proposed is too broad, too easy to abuse. Margaret raised her eyebrows. "So what solution do you propose to handle this crisis, while still respecting the actor's right to speak?" Andrew replied immediately, "First of all, we need to determine exactly which of Sam's statements caused damage. If there are any cuts or distortions, the crew should approach the media and publicly correct the mistakes. Sam can issue a detailed statement of correction, point by point, verbatim, and if the crew wants, sign a media cooperation commitment agreement. That is, when Sam wants to speak about the crew, he needs to submit the content for review, not absolute censorship, not an indefinite binding." Margaret paused. The crew director shouted, "I think he is too arrogant. It's not the first time he has made such statements. If he wants to cooperate again, he needs to show a more humble attitude," Laura immediately replied via video call. Sam cannot stop human emotions, but he wants to be explained and handled transparently. He doesn't want people to misunderstand, but he also doesn't accept forced silence. The debate lasted for hours. Both sides gave examples, evidence, and lawyers analyzed the risks. At the end of the meeting, Margaret asked for a postponement so she could evaluate the options and send a revised contract within 48 hours, to avoid litigation. Sam and Andrew agreed in principle, but did not sign anything. Public debate. While the negotiations were still going on, the media could not help but dig deeper. Entertainment sites launched sensational headlines: Sam Heughan vs. Outlander crew. Who is right and who is wrong? Crew lawyer asks Sam to stay silent forever. Fans of both sides split over shocking statement. The online community was in an uproar. Some defended Sam, others thought he was unprofessional. Sam decided to take the initiative to post a long article on his personal social media page, not to cry out injustice, but to present his views from his own perspective. He recounted the feelings of actors when working under production pressure, tense moments, but could not deny the respect for the director and crew. He apologized if his words hurt anyone, but emphasized that he did not intend to attack the group. He called on the audience to look at the matter more deeply, not to rush to judgment. The post quickly attracted millions of views and comments. Reporters easily quoted it. Some entertainment newspapers changed direction, writing articles analyzing that this was no longer a personal scandal, but a crisis of filmmaking culture, between production power and individual voice. In such a situation, the Outlander crew also released a statement: "We value every member of the crew, from actors to behind-the-scenes staff." However, recent statements have caused misunderstandings and damaged the reputation of the project. We look forward to dialogue and finding a reasonable solution for the continuation of the series that we all love. The statement has a conciliatory tone, but clearly wants to take the initiative in the eyes of the media. Media Cooperation Proposal. 48 hours after the meeting, Margaret sent a revised legal cooperation agreement, a lighter version than the original, but still with some binding terms. The revised version includes: Sam will correct statements that are determined to be false or misleading, as discussed between the two parties. Sam will issue a joint statement with the crew, confirming their commitment to continue cooperation and respect for the Outlander brand. From now on, if Sam wants to make a public statement regarding the group, he will send a draft document 48 hours in advance for review, not absolute approval. The two sides removed the unlimited financial penalty clause, replacing it with a specific penalty for violation, small, symbolic percentage. The two sides established a conciliation committee consisting of the Legion representative and Sam's representative to resolve the serious issue of the future media dispute. Andrew read carefully, nodded with many ideas. Suggested to add one point: "We want to have additional speaking rights. If this group later has any false force about Sam, he also has the right to respond publicly, with the condition that the response must comply with the provisions of truthfulness, not insulting." Margaret considered, then agreed to insert this point as Artist Rights Protection Addendum. Finally, the parties signed the agreed amendment, a kind of legal and binding media minutes. No one won completely, no one gave in completely. It was a compromise, new start. After signing, Sam and the Outlander crew issued a joint report: "We acknowledge the shortcomings in recent statements." Sam Heughan would like to correct and emphasize the importance to all the crew, actors and staff. "We are committed to continuing to cooperate in the spirit of other religions, and wish to guide to a sustainable future. All issues will be resolved through dialogue in the Joint Reconciliation Committee." The information transmitted was received as a sign of late but controlled reconciliation. Articles began to write more gently, analyzing Sam's initiative, and the crew also showed goodwill. Sam was invited back to the crew, continuing to film unfinished scenes. The internal situation was a bit tense, but the production leaders decided not to use too heavy legal pressure, because they understood that Sam's reasonableness brought value to the Outlander brand. In the days that followed, Sam was under intense pressure. He had to be careful with his words, manage his media carefully. Every new language was pre-tested, according to the new contract. He felt like he was living in a glass cage, although he agreed to this to avoid confrontation. However, at the same time, the audience gradually felt sympathy. They saw that Sam was not perfect, but he spoke the truth, took responsibility and reconciled. The fan community organized a "Give Sam a Chance" campaign to support him.